easier than a loon.
Say something.
You're being oh so...
Look out.
The drugs I took weren't teens. They were mine. I'm sorry, Mom. Sorry, honey, for what?
Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives Homies channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and gives this video a thumbs up. Steve stops Mark in his tracks in Paris before he can shoot Chad. When Chad inquires as to what is going on, Steve responds, "This woman is not Abigail." Steve refers to her as a forger and discloses that Kayla retook the DNA test, proving that she is not his spouse. When Abigail visits her brother, Steve informs Chad that Mark fabricated the DNA test findings. Chad queries Abby about its veracity, but judging from her expression, it is. She sobs, saying she is not Abigail. Chad finds it hard to accept that Abigail has passed away. If Mark is the woman's boyfriend, he inquires. He is her brother, she explains. While Chad is in search of clarification, Steve believes it's time to call the cops. After dragging her into a different room, Chad demands at her to begin speaking. Why is she posing as his deceased wife, he wonders. She needs him to understand that Clyde came up with this scheme, and it wasn't her idea. Why would Clyde do this, Chad wonders. She sobs because she doesn't know and believes he intended to torment him in addition to his money. She claimed to be a dead woman for money, and Chad exclaims that she doesn't even care about him. He can't believe it. She sobs, telling him that she truly does feel something for him, even though she doesn't think he will. Although Chad doesn't buy that, she is adamant that she loves him and didn't mean any harm. She detested lying to him, and the longer she lied to him, the harder it became as she started to fall for him. It's true, even if she knows he doesn't need to hear it. How did she know his and Abby's wedding vows, Chad wonders. She acknowledges that she discovered Abigail's vows on paper as she looked through a box of memorabilia in the attic. She makes him feel this way, and he calls her sick and screwed up. He screams that if she really cared about him, she would have told him the truth before her brother showed there to murder him, and before he believed he had the love of his life back. She moved in front of Mark to stop him even though she had no idea he was going to kill him. His money was to be given to Clyde by her husband, and that was to be the end of it. When Chad learned that his assets had been taken, he asked how she planned to explain. Admittedly, she was always supposed to vanish. He believes that either Clyde or her brother felt that it would be simpler for her if he was deceased. She adamantly claims she was unaware of that aspect of the strategy. Chad acknowledges that he had a gut feeling that something wasn't right, and he believes that's why he trusted her. He really wanted this to be real. He hoped Abigail had returned to him and his children. He was pain-free for the first time since Abby's passing. He has to grieve her once more now. He claims that Abigail's parents will burn in hell if they find out. Thank God he kept her a secret from his children. The woman reveals that's why she wanted them to visit Paris and avoided meeting them. She adamantly states that Clyde made her and Mark do this even though they didn't want to. She says that Clyde threatened to kill their mother if they didn't comply with his demands. She claims that his guys have been holding her captive, and that they will execute her if they cannot get Clyde the money. How does he know it's not simply another lie, Chad wonders. She assures him that she doesn't count on his belief. He claims not even to know her identity. She tells him her name is Kat, which is short for Katharina, and her mother gave her the nickname. Although Chad is unsure if she is telling the truth or not, he is aware that she and her brother have cruelly deceived everyone who has ever loved Abby. He vows that he will hold her accountable for her actions. Steve returns to the other room and ties up an unconscious Mark in a chair. When JJ gets here, he wants to know what his uncle Steve is doing here, and what is going on with this Salem doctor. Steve claims that this man, who is the brother of the lady posing as Abigail, attempted to assassinate Chad. JJ fears having to tell his dad the truth now that he knows his mother was correct all along. Before they call Jack, Steve believes they need find out more information. Steve thinks Clyde Weston is connected in some way. When Mark at last comes to, Steve informs him that they know the truth. While they talk, his sister is working through issues with Chad, talking about Abigail's revival over the phone at the Dimmer home. Kristen tells Mr. Shin that the board and he have given her a lot to consider. After ending the call, she enters the living room where Xander that she wasn't prepared for him, and that since Brady is in jail, she won't be giving him the serum. She is told by Xander that Brady is free, and that his mother has been taken into custody as the true offender. He informs her of what transpired, and expresses shock that she hasn't read about it in the newspaper. She says she just returned from a Chicago board meeting. Xander informs her that he and Sarah persuaded her brother to release Brady even though he didn't want to. He requests the serum, but Kristen needs to make sure. She claims she should be able to call Brady if he is available. After Brady is freed from the Salem Police Department, Sarah is there to greet him. She has some things to say to him, but she's happy that he's free and that the correct person is in jail. After they make the decision to enter the conference room, Brady receives a call from Kristen. He accepts it and says he's going home shortly. She invites him to come visit Rachel. She also wants to know how his release happened. Brady and Sarah speak after the call. Sarah regrets spending months holding him responsible for her accident. Brady claims that because of Fiona, he too believed he was guilty. Sarah claims that she was the one who reported him to the police, and she would understand if he never forgave her. Brady accepts her forgiveness, but he also needs to accept that Fiona was able to frame him because he was weak and relapsed. Give himself credit for being a good man who had the wisdom to avoid driving that evening, according to Sarah. Refusing, he queries Sarah as to why she designated him as the driver. Was she perplexed? Admittedly, Sarah lied. Brady is astonished that she would lie to get him to pay, even though he knows she wanted him to. Sarah assures him it wasn't a falsehood meant to hurt him. Now that he's had some time to reflect, he believes she was attempting to shield Xander and prevent him from killing him. He recounts the incidents from the night he was taken into custody and says he thinks she told the police lies to prevent Xander from killing someone. Brady assures Sarah that she doesn't need to say anything because he can know she's correct as she fights back the tears. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.